Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game week 36 of Premier League predictions. Manchester City are crowned champions. Relegation has been decided, but we still have some Champions League and Europa League places to fight for.
Yes, it'll be very good to keep an eye on them. And before we get into the predictions for this week, as always, we just want to say a quick and a very big thank you to everyone who comments and all our subscribers. We appreciate every single one of you guys.
First up, it is Newcastle United versus the champions of Man City. And for Newcastle, that kid Joe Willock is on some serious super sub crack at the moment. He is doing his best impression of Jesse Lingard in terms of form and goals. He's really scoring against the top teams. And in the game, Sam Maximin almost he did miss a glorious chance. But later on, didn't deter them. Joe Willock picked Soyuncu's pocket and he absolutely punished Leicester there. And throughout the game, I really thought that Newcastle were constantly at Leicester, were able to exploit the spaces in behind, and Wilson took full advantage of that throughout the game. And he had a great performance. And it's pretty good for Newcastle. I'd say even the biggest anti-Steve Bruce Newcastle fans kind of have to be impressed with the last 8 games and how he's essentially secured them survival for the Premier League once again.
Yeah, I feel like Steve Bruce is one of them people that he builds just enough pressure and then he just does just good enough. They can't be sacked.
Which is, a no man's land for a club. But I mean, he's done well the last eight games.
And for Manchester City, it was the most important game week for them. And their game wasn't even the most important game, but we're quickly going to touch on it. It was that 2-1 loss to Chelsea. I'd say they had the better chances, and we're obviously going to talk about the Panelka penalty that Aguero attempted. Look, I love it when players attempt it, and it is one of them. It is, you do it and it comes off, it looks amazing. You do it and it comes off badly, it looks absolutely terrible. But, it's part of the game. It's the confidence. Some people will kind of have a go. I mean, he even come out and apologise, which I think is wrong.
I don't think you should apologise. I mean, if you were like a striker who just joined the club, but this guy has served Man City really well, and to have the audacity to do that at Panenka, I know it looked kind of obvious though. That's the only problem with that one.
I agree, but he should never have come out of apology. He doesn't owe anyone an apology, unless it's his teammates, which obviously he would do in the dressing room afterwards. But not a great game for City, although, as I did mention earlier, they did have, I'd say, the better chances against Chelsea. But it doesn't matter, because in the week, as we discovered yesterday, Leicester beat Manchester United, which meant Manchester City have been crowned champions. So a very well done to Pep and all the players and backroom staff.
Score prediction then. Is it dead rubber? This might be a dead rubber of a game, although no, they can't. Man City can't chase any records, I don't think, this season.
No, but I think he'll probably be building towards the Champions League final. I think his team selections, I think certain players will be rested coming up to that, and he'll probably maybe be trying a few things in the build-up. But I'm still going to go for a City win, and I'm going 1-0 City.
I'm going 2-0 City with this one.
Next game up, it is Burnley versus Leeds. And Burnley, after 2 Mondays in a row, this is going to feel weird for them, having to play actually at the weekend. And the first Monday they played was when they lost to West Ham, but they managed to correct that, because then they played Fulham and they beat them 2-1, and it was a very good performance by Burnley. And I have to say, 2 very good goals. I think the Westwood goal was a good goal, but I think it was the assist that was very good. It was a very good bit of skill by Vidra and determination to get the ball across to him. And what a finish by Wood. What has he's been smoking the same thing. I don't know what you called it, Gary, but he's been smoking the same thing that Willock has been smoking, because he has been on fire as well. He's just banging goals left, right and centre, and it's a fantastic finish by Wood for Burnley. But as I say, it's a really good performance by them against. Oh, and they did actually. Burnley did relegate Fulham, didn't they? They were relegated. So good performance by them.
As for Leeds, great result against Tottenham after a few tricky results, and they managed to keep 10th place. I think that Bamford goal was a really good team goal, and Bielsa, he described it quite well. He said, we could have scored more goals, but we could have conceded more goals, and that's exactly what how that summarized the game. I think Tottenham were a bit unlucky that the toe was ruled offside, and Kane hit the crossbar as well. So it could have been like a much tighter game, but I felt like Leeds deserved that win, and yeah, keep on going.
What's your prediction for this one?
Don't know actually. This is a weird game. I'm going with Leeds. On this one, but 2-1 only.
I'm going 2-1, but for Burnley.
Wow, just for Chris Wood and his goal scoring prowess suddenly.
He will carry it. He will score all 3 goals. 2 goals and another goal.
You know what's frustrating for Burnley? They just wish that his goals would have been spread out quite evenly over the season instead of 5 goals in the last 4 games or something like that. Next up, it is Southampton versus Fulham, and I'll skip over the Liverpool result for you Southampton fans, but it was a good win against Crystal Palace. It kind of went wrong in the first 2 minutes. They conceded that early goal to Benteke, which they would have been pretty annoyed about because they saw Benteke score in the first 2 minutes in the previous game. So the game plan sort of went out of the window, but they did really well to respond. And Danny Ings, that man, is back from hamstring injury, and he really is the leader of this team. Got them right back into it and got them the win. And a lot of credit has to go to Forster as well, who saved that penalty against I can't even pronounce his name, Milivojevic from Crystal Palace, who is always deadly from the penalty spot. So good win all around.
Yeah, special mention I think for Adams as well. I think he played really well as well, and he doesn't always take the headlines. For Fulham, unfortunately for them, that Burnley result, that 2-1 loss to Burnley, that was the final nail in the coffin. And it's a shame to see Fulham go down because I feel like they really did try to play good football. And then we had that patch, it was a few months ago where they had a really good run of form, and you was thinking, if they can maintain that to the end of the season, they might just be able to see themselves out of trouble. But unfortunately for them, they've only had 1 point in the last 6 games. It's just not good enough. It is relegation form. But hopefully, Fulham, we see you back soon.
Score prediction then.
I'm going for Southampton 3-1.
I think Fulham will just this is one of those games they'll randomly win. So I'm going 2-1 Fulham.
Next up, it is Brighton versus West Ham. And in Brighton's last game, it was that 2-1 loss to Wolves. And look, Gary, me and you have said this so many times this season, but Brighton, if there was an award for most frustrating team, and not in to watch them play, they play good football, as in kind of just not taking up their chances or conceding silly goals, just everything that could go wrong does go wrong, it would be Brighton. And this game sums it up perfectly. Dunk went from hero to villain in about half an hour, because he opened up the scoring, and then it was a sending off. He took down the last man. It was 100% a sending off. I don't think that was
What was he thinking of? He knows he's going to get beat. It's just, just a brain fart from him. He's just...
I think in that moment...
Got to let him go.
Yeah, I think in that moment he's thinking, I can stop the goal. Where he's, maybe if he had a few more seconds, it's like, even if he scores, we got more chance of scoring again with 11 men on the pitch rather than trying to defend the rest of the game with 10 men on the pitch. But it's tough in that moment to make the right choices. And then from the sending off afterwards, Wolves are piling on the pressure. They did have quite a few chances. In the end, Wolves were able to break him down and eventually scored a winner really late on.
As for West Ham, that is pretty painful. I mean, my only request is to have West Ham in with a shout to the last game, and they really needed to beat Everton. It didn't really happen. The goal that they conceded was really sloppy. No pressure on Godfrey at all. Everyone's sort of ball watching. Dawson, he's got the defensive line all wrong. He goes with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and once that ball is put through the defense, he is in a world of trouble. And West Ham had a couple of good chances. I don't know how Ben Rama missed that header as well. And it was really frustrating for West Ham that Champions League dream might be over with Leicester winning that game as well. So tough.
Yeah, I have to say for West Ham, I don't actually think they played that badly. I just think Everton superbly nullified them.
Yeah. I remember Jared Brom, he awkwardly came up to him, and it's just like those moments, that's just so frustrating for West Ham fans to watch that.
What's your prediction for this one?
Here, I think West Ham will win again. Come back to winning ways. So I'm going 2-1.
You know what? Everything is telling me it should be a West Ham win. But I feel like Brighton, just the way they are, they've got a few injuries, a few suspensions. We didn't mention Mulpay got sent off after the final whistle for saying something stupid. But I'm going to go for 1-1. I feel like it's going to be a frustrating game again for West Ham.
Next up, it is Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. And Crystal Palace, Benteke is on some different crack. He is scoring right at the beginning of these games, scoring in the first 2 minutes against Sheffield United and Southampton. And against Sheffield United, that was the most important win. To get that win, get safety. They played really well. They were all over Sheffield United's back line. And Benteke should have scored 2 extra in that game, in my opinion. But for me, the most important thing, Crystal Palace, safety, really impressive. We get to see 2 of the bright young English talents in Eze and Mitchell for another season at least, and that's what we want.
But Aston Villa in their last game, it was that 3-1 loss to Manchester United, and the thing is they started well. And let's just before we kind of get onto the bad side of Aston Villa, what a brilliant finish by Traore. That was absolutely filth. It's literally, he only had one place where he could put that score out, I feel, and he absolutely found it. But yeah, I think Manchester United, they come into the game. The penalty, I just want to touch on the penalty briefly. It's one of them where, I do think it's soft, but I think at the same time, Luis should know that as soon as he kind of puts his leg out and catches Pogba, and if he gets none of the ball, Pogba is going to go over. He's 100% going to go over.
Anyone's going to go over, that's the thing. Anyone.
Well, yeah, 100%. So I feel like, he should know better. But then at the same time, you've got the Watkins sent off, because he got sent off in the 90th minute for what was shown to be a dive. That was also, there was a slight bit of contact there. And, some people are arguing that Watkins was already on the way down, which, maybe is true. But my argument is, where do you draw the line? Because both of these situations, I wouldn't say there were massive touches. I don't think either of them really would have caused a player to go over. But one was given as a penalty and the other one was given as a yellow card.
I know where the line is drawn.
Don't say it. Don't say it. I know what you're going to say. Don't say it. No.
If you're not if you're not a certain England captain, that's where the line is drawn.
What's your prediction for this one? Oh, you're going there. I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, score prediction.
I'm going Aston Villa. Ooh, I'm going for a draw. I mean, the red cards kind of push it a little bit to Watkins. Yeah, I'm going 1-1.
It's a tough one. I don't think Grealish is back yet, and they will miss Watkins. You know what? I'm going to snap you and do 1-1-2. Next up is Tottenham versus Wolves in Tottenham's last game. It was that 3-1 loss to Leeds. And, I had thought about what I was going to say about the Tottenham result. But you know what, Gary? You know what you said, Bielsa said about the game? I feel like that was actually the perfect summary. Leeds 100% could have scored a few more, but they also could have conceded a few more. And, for Tottenham, I feel like what we saw was a bunch of talented individuals, which is what Tottenham have, against a team that may not have kind of the same ability-wise across the team, but it was just a much better team. I feel like Leeds deserved their victory, and I think Tottenham could probably learn a lot from Bielsa and how he's got his team playing, and how he set his team up. But yeah, Tottenham were a little bit unlucky. I think you touched on it with Kane's toenail being offside. Although I said this to you, Gary, I do argue I can't actually see where he's offside. Sometimes you see the little line, kind of further on the other one, but it looks in line, right?
Yeah, I mean, the VAR is a farce, man. They're just getting the ruler out and just drawing a line wherever they see it. There's no consistent way of determining where exactly to draw the line. So just gonna cancel out goals for the fun of it.
Yeah, it was a weird one. Yeah, and Kane hit a bar, but I think Yeah, as I say, I think to sum it up perfectly, we saw what it's like to have a cohesive team, which is what Leeds have against what Tottenham have at the moment, which is a bunch of individuals.
As for Wolves, they had that very good win against Brighton. Breaking down 10 men. It took a lot of patience, especially in that second half. And so I was quite impressed with it. It's difficult. They conceded a header to Lewis Dunk. That's their 13th goal that they conceded from set pieces this season. So a bit of a weakness for them. And yeah, I mean, I could criticize, but Brighton have two absolute units in their defenders that can take advantage of these set pieces. But where they have the advantage in this set piece, they definitely do not have that advantage in terms of speed going the other way back. And that is exactly how Wolves, took advantage of them. At Stonewall red card and some nice play from Traore, I felt, really, got them back into it, set up great chances, and they got the goal. And that was pretty impressive by Wolves.
And a special shout out to Gibbs White, because he missed that golden opportunity before he scored, and then he scored it, which would have made the goal actually a more difficult chance to convert, because he probably would have been a bit nervous, but it was really nice he managed to convert that. What's your prediction for this one?
I am going for a very hard fought 2-2.
Yeah, I think I'm going 2-1 Tottenham, but it does depend which Tottenham are going to turn up.
Next up, it is West Bromwich Albion versus Liverpool, and West Brom, it's a really sad day, officially relegated from the Premier League. Not even the Premier League survival specialist Sam Allardyce could get them out of this, predicament. It was always going to be a tall order because of such a bad start from Slaven Bilic earlier this season. And, against Arsenal, they played well. They did play well at the beginning, but as soon as they conceded that goal, I felt like the mentality shifted and they didn't really believe that they could get back into it properly. They did come back a bit, but I don't know, it was a bit too much because they knew they had to win, but it was too far for them this season and against Arsenal.
For Liverpool, their last game was that 2-0 win over Southampton, and it was a very good performance from Liverpool and two real high quality goals. There's a fantastic assist by Salah for Mane's goal, who he looks a little bit not like proper his old self, because his old self was scoring a ridiculous amount of goals and adding assists, but he looks a little bit more like himself. And that Thiago goal was really good. I think what impressed me almost as much as the finish was that first touch to really open it up, take the player away, and to give him the space to either shoot, which he obviously did pick, but he could have passed it. He gave him a lot of space. But unfortunately for them, with Manchester United losing to Leicester, it makes it really difficult now for Liverpool to get Champions League football next season, although it's not fully ruled out yet. Well, I don't understand. I see some Liverpool fans were upset with Manchester United / Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for fielding reserves. I don't, what do Manchester United owe Liverpool? Where you finish.
No integrity in the game, sending out a B team when the game had to be rearranged because the fans, protested. So there's all of that feeling. Massive rivalry as well.
Look, where you finish to where you finish. If you need other teams to help you get to your goal, then that's not necessarily where you deserve to finish. But Liverpool could still get Champions League. Who knows? It's slim chances, but it's not impossible.
Score prediction.
I think Liverpool are going to do everything they can to try and get Champions League. I think they'll probably score quite a few against West Brom. So although West Brom did win earlier in the season, just going to throw that out there. But I'm still going 3-1 Liverpool.
I'm going 5-0 Liverpool with this one. I'm going big.
Klopp's going to get his revenge against Big Sam. And so last game of the game week is Everton versus Sheffield United. And in Everton's last game, it was that 1-0 win over West Ham. And I have to say, that was such an impressive performance by Everton. It really, really was incredible. Because the thing is, West Ham, I don't think West Ham actually kind of played that badly. It's the West Ham that we've seen this season, the informed West Ham, where they're trying to create chances. And they did have quite a few chances if some of their key players didn't fluff their lines. But Everton did an incredible job of limiting them as much as possible, and they took their chance when it came up. They could have maybe had two, but Calvert-Lewin got his goal. And as I say, it really was a very good performance from Everton.
Yeah, sometimes it just boils down to the finishing. When two teams are close, calm heads on Dominic Calvert-Lewin finished it, and that's the game.
Yeah, well, when you compare, you think about, I think West Ham, when they played in their last game, they had something ridiculous, like 22 shots, and Everton really did well to close them out. As I say, they didn't completely keep them out. West Ham did have chances, but they didn't take them, and I think Everton quite deservedly walked away with the 3 points. As
for Sheffield United, I borderline want to skip this game. It was a tough game. You concede in 66 seconds to Benteke to a deflected goal, and then try all game, and then concede the second goal to another deflected goal. And then it kind of summarizes Sheffield United's season. So I'm skipping it. Going to score predictions.
Yeah, fair enough. What you got for score prediction?
5-0 Everton. No, I'm going 3-0 Everton.
I'm going for 2-1 Everton.
Sorry, Sheffield United fans. Sorry.
McBurney might be on target with his feet rather than his fists this time.
Anyway, that is it for game week 36. Get your comments and your predictions in the comments now.
Yes, and we will see you next week, which should be the last week, Gary. That'll be it for the season. 2021 done.